Hello, I wanted to do a video about the importance of the Lego stack. So today in English we had our grade 6 class. We have two grade 6 classes, so we had done this lesson previously in the other class but hadn't incorporated Lego in the way that I'm about to tell you. Mrs. Jones again had put notable figures on the board, so Nelson Mandela, Donald Duck, David Cameron, and a few other people, and above each person this time she had put a colour. So the kids came in, they had loose bricks in a cup. They had to stack them to show the most notable to the least notable. And this is really interesting because we could see that every student was engaged and on task. Every student was really excited to get involved because it's Lego and they love Lego. And students could really quickly compare their results. And it was starting some really healthy discussions. Someone would say, why is your blue here? Your green should be on top. And they're getting really, really animated. And then it actually went on further. So they were discussing, oh, okay, so Miss Dutton has the basketball player at the bottom. Maybe that's because that's not really part of British culture. Someone else had David Cameron at the bottom. Maybe that was partly because they just moved to England. And then we discussed how different people would have different orders. So if you were a cartoonist, maybe you're working at Pixar, probably Donald Duck's going to be at the top because he's the most important person to you. So he talked about how notable is different to important and how those things can sometimes get mixed up, but how different people are notable in different cultures. And it was very, very interesting. I also thought that although this class were all very animated and very involved in debating and discussing, it would be very good for quiet students or students who are kind of unsure. Sometimes you don't want to put yourself forward if you're not quite sure of something, so they can show what they're thinking or their opinions by stacking the Lego bricks. I thought some other good ways would be to have events on the board all scrambled up and students have to try and make the timeline. So maybe Second World War, maybe anything they want. You could also vote, so their favourite toy to their least favourite toy. You could also vote for lots of different things like that. For things like student council, using the Lego. It's really, really good because students were really animated about their pieces. What I'm doing this afternoon is I'm carrying on my coding lesson, again with grade 6s, and they have all been exploring different apps, so Hikitsu, Hopscotch, all sorts of different apps and websites, and they are pitching them to the class today. So they have to say who it's aimed at, if it's any good, how easy it is, how difficult it is, if it's glitchy, loads of things about it, and they've done some research to who invented it. Got a little bibliography at the end. I'm very excited. And at the end, we're going to vote for our favourite app. Not our favourite presentation, but our favourite app, or website. So we'll have them on the board, and we'll have the colours, and we'll be able to vote like this. Students are then going to use the 5-minute lesson plan, and they're going to decide how they would teach a set audience coding. So they can choose really young kids, kids their own age, or adults who haven't used coding before. And we're going to think about some of those apps. So which app was the most popular? Do we think that's going to encourage people to learn? And some of the apps that are least popular, will they still be useful? So maybe Hopscotch is kind of for young kids, but it might be very good for a 5-minute lesson starter, or some of the more difficult ones might be good for the older audiences. So I'm really excited about this lesson. I know that the students are going to be thrilled to find Lego on their desks when they get here, even though actually what they're doing is kind of a formal assessment. And we will keep updating with how we're using Lego, and I recommend that you embrace the Lego stack.